gentlemen, what's going on? And welcome to the April 1st edition of Cooking with Fatty. And today, we're cooking a dish that's a little complex. It's really difficult. I'm telling you, if you're out there and you've got no more skill than a toddler with a little tight toy grill, you're not going to be able to do this. You need to have experience. I'm talking fugu type chef experience for this dish. It is damn near impossible to do right. But today, we are making a famous Italian dish that is cheesy, delicious. It has a very impactful flavor. And today I'm going to show you how to make this dish at home. And it's something that I think we're all going to love. But again, you really only want to attempt this if you're an expert level chef. Because to be honest, if you come at this with any less skill, you're going to fuck this up pretty easily. By the way, if you're wondering where you can get this drippy, you better check out Hazard and my buddy Little Aaron. Let me tell you something. Makes you drippy like you're dripping in cheese. Now, without further ado, step one of today's dish. You need to bring some water to a boil. Gordon Ramsay ain't got shit on them moves. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to boil some water. And we're going to bring it to a boil. And then we'll be right back to bring in the next ingredient. Step is going to be prepping this very rare, very exquisite cheese. This comes all the way from the Timbuktu hills of deep Greece, Italy. This is something that the Tsar back in the day would have been eating on. What was it called? A Caesar. Pretty sure that's a salad. Either way, only the top of royalties back in the day in Italy were eating this kind of cheese, and it's called Velveeta cheese. Velveeta. Very fancy cheese. And now if you come to the underhand overhead camera here, as you can see, this cheese is a very nice, condensed, thick cheese. It has a pretty soft, almost rubbery texture. It jiggles like it's Jell-O. That's how you know it's some really solid stuff and aged to perfection. And I'm just going to take this here, this tiny knife, this tiny little pocket knife right here. And I'm just going to cut us a slice. We're just going to go pretty liberal with it. You don't need a lot of this cheese. You don't need a lot of this stuff. You only need a little bit to make this stuff. Trust me. And of course, now that we have our cheese split, we're going to go ahead and rewrap our Velveeta cheese up. We want to assure maximum freshness along with aging like prime wine. I tell you, this is a fancy receptacle here too. It's made of recycled cardboards and hyperplastics. And it's the same shit they're making a lot of the new Ferraris and Lamborghinis out of. I tell you, Italy is ahead of their time with a lot of their storage containers and shit. I mean, that's what vehicles are, right? They're moving storage containers for people. Well, now that we have our Velveeta up and ready to go, we're going to prep our noodles. Now, the noodles we're using are a rare Asian noodle. Now, this is a type of spaghetti noodle that would be used in Asian dishes called ramen. And ramen is typically a very brothy, chickeny tasting type thing. But today we're going to use the noodles because these noodles offer a higher and exquisite experience for what this pasta is. And it's something that's going to be tasty and great. And these noodles tend to really absorb a lot of flavor with very little needed. And we're going to be using 2 bricks of these ramen noodles. Bricks in, and occasionally, these bricks come in with a little bit of damage, but it's all gonna go down the same pipe no matter what. All right. Now again, this is a dish that is served in 5-star Michelin restaurants all across Italy and Paris, France. For some reason, specifically Paris enjoys this dish, not the rest of France. I know it makes no sense, but what else can we do? Well, I mean, besides you doing me a favor, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and letting your boy know if you're enjoying today's video, I mean, I'm going to be honest, right? I'm taking a deficit here in my wallet. I'm definitely not making my money back from this video after we make this very expensive dish. Now, if you're wondering how much this dish typically goes for in most restaurants, you're looking at about $10,000 a serving. To put that in perspective, most truffle chocolates only cost about $800 a serving. This shit's just that expensive. So if you don't already own a car or motorcycle and you're thinking about eating, you might not want to make this dish because it is very pricey. Very pricey. Very demure. Very fancy too. Now, oddly enough, this is a cheesy pasta that will not give you the shits, okay? There's a lot of pastas out there with cheese that if you eat too much of it or you use the wrong cheese, it just gives you the fucking runs. This stuff won't give you the runs. Worst it'll do. I'm just going to get ready because we're going to strain the noodles. Get ready. So we're going to let these boil for a few more moments. And while that happens, we're going to extract something because we have our expensive item here. This is the item, the single item on this list that makes this dish worth that 10 grand. It makes it so worth it you'll hear the restaurants next door's car bringing in your next load of ingredients. That being said, this here is a very rare fruit. It is called the Crafte Masse and Cease. It's a Masse and Cease fruit. And you need to break into the fruit here. I'm going to show you just why this is so expensive. Because what we want is the tongue of the fruit. Now this tongue, when broke open and spilled its contents into our dish, is going to make this taste amazing. And the reason it's so expensive is it's the only consumable piece in this fruit. If you try to eat the guts of the fruit, I'm going to tell you this right now. You're just not doing it. It's too hard. It's like trying to eat a fucking guava seed. Yeah. Can't eat the skin either. It tastes like cardboard. But the tongue of the fruit what's inside the tongue makes it exquisite and worth the 10 grand a dish. Now, our ramen noodles are ready to be drained. You want to leave just a tiny bit of the water left over. Now, when you cut open your crofte, masse, and cease tongue, you want to make sure you're just giving it a nice clean rip so you're not wasting any of that dust. When you're going to pour it in, you pull your pot off and you just dump it right in, smack it against the pot a couple times. Really make sure you're getting the dust out of that and get your 10 grand worth, okay? And you're going to take a fork. And you're just going to mix this together. And as you're doing this, you're going to slip in a really nice, exquisite cheese. The Vegeta cheese. This stuff is really going to bring in some flavor and some texture. Like how a coup likes it. Extra thick. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The freshest, greatest, world's most expensive pasta you could ever make. As I said, that carafte masse and cheese fruit is what really drives the price up to this. And then the next expensive thing is going to be your fajita cheese. And, I mean, honestly, like, the ramen noodles are really cheap depending on where you go. Just be careful and don't get the fake shit. You don't want that gutter water crap. Now we're going to go ahead and taste this while this is warm and see if we've made this to perfection. Tastes like $10,000. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I highly suggest you give this dish a try at home. It is, like I said, a difficult dish, but let this be your first difficult dish to learn. You will be able to wow people at parties, especially white people like cheese. Anyhow, this has been your boy, Airsoftfatty. Again, if you want to look this damn good, check out Hazard. And, keep it fancy. Keep it smelly. But most of all, keep it cheesy. And I'll see you guys